What's up, traders? Welcome to today's Equity Empire Chart Analysis session. When most investors are throwing darts, we're looking for clues in the charts. My name is John McHugh. I'm a former Wall Street analyst, hedge fund manager, and independent trader for the better part of 20 years. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the chart on BigBear AI, symbol BBAI. It's the AI solutions company for defense, trade, and supply chain applications. And when we take a look at the chart, we're simply going to be looking for two things. One, what is the direction of the trend? And two, are there clues as to where big money might be patiently waiting to buy at a lower price or patiently waiting to sell at a higher price? So let's get right into it. Now there is, if we take a look at the chart, normally it takes a little bit of work to identify the trend, but it doesn't take a whole lot of expertise in this particular case to notice that BBAI is definitely in a short-term uptrend. I mean, the shares over the last week and a half have nearly doubled. Okay, so BigBear AI is definitely in a short-term uptrend. And when we're in an uptrend, instead of chasing after the stock is nearly doubled, could it keep going up and retest the highs from the year without a pullback? Sure, it could. But if that's the case, it's going to have to go without us because I don't like to chase after a stock is already doubled. Okay, now what you want to do in this case is before you take action, just take an assessment of how you're feeling at the moment. Are you feeling calm? Are you feeling cool? Are you feeling disciplined? And most importantly, are you following your process? Because if your process is chasing the hot stock of the day or the hot stock of the week, your long-term results are going to be less than satisfactory, okay? Let's just call it that. So check your emotions. If you're feeling the fear of missing out, take a deep breath and get back to your strategy. If you don't have a strategy, maybe it's time to start learning a new strategy because it may work in a bull market when there's a lot of high-flying stocks, okay? But in a normal market, that is the recipe for blowing up your account. So we're going to be a little more disciplined in today's session, and we're looking for pullback to see if we can get a pullback into a support level. So we're going to look for little clues in the chart to see where the big money might be patiently waiting, once again, to buy at a lower price. So we're going to change the time frame to 1 hour candles, and we're going to find a couple support levels. And there is a support level, first support level right here. It's a pretty wide support level in the 594 to 534 price range. Okay, and there's another support level just below that right here in the 494 to 469 price range. So a couple support levels to consider for a quick bounce trade or a lower entry price if you're looking to make a longer term hold. Okay, now let's go look for resistance levels, and there is a resistance level that just formed. It just formed today, quite frankly. So there's a resistance level right here in the 696 to 721 price range. So that big drop right there signifies that there were enough sellers in there to knock the price back down. So someone was happy with nearly double in less than 2 weeks, and might have been someone big because that's a pretty big red candle there. Okay, so that's a clue that we may encounter more resistance if we get back up to 696. Now let's go see if there's some more resistance at higher prices. And there is another resistance level. If we can break through that 696, the next resistance level would be right up here. Okay, that would be in the right here in the 774 to 816 price range. Okay, so you got a couple resistance levels to be aware of. Okay, and you got a couple support levels that you might consider for a quick bounce trade, or like I said earlier, a lower entry price if you're looking to make a longer term investment in BBAI. So this is the way you might consider constructing a trade. Place a buy limit order, 594, protective stop just below the bottom of that range, the bottom of that level, just below 534. But at least your initial target just in front of that resistance level. And that trade setup right there would have a 1.56 to 1 reward to risk ratio, which is not ideal. Ideally, we'd have closer to at least a 2 to 1. Ideally, a 3 to 1, 4 to 1, or 5 to 1 reward to risk ratio. But if your win percentage is over 50%, then you could take something that has about a 1.5 to 1 reward to risk ratio, or you could just take a smaller level in here. Okay. If you wanted to be more patient, patiently wait for a greater pullback, if it were to occur, it may not occur. But if you're looking for a greater price discount for your entry, you could set up a trade that's going to have a much greater reward to risk ratio. And that's placing a buy limit order at 494, protective stop just below 469, drag your target all the way up to the same target price. And that trade setup right there has a 7-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So if you're willing to take the chance that it might not pull back to that level, so you're like, this is less likely to get filled, but with a higher reward to risk ratio. The upper level, more likely to get filled, but also more likely to get filled and stopped out if price were to continue going down to the next support level. So these are the considerations for deciding which support level, if you even want to take one at all, okay? So the way that either one of these trades would play out would be, ideally for the first level, would be to bounce off that level and go back and test the resistance level. So pull back to 594 or somewhere in that support level, bounce off and test that level. So that would be the way you would ideally want the upper support level trade to play out. And for the lower support level, you'd be looking for something more like this, which would be a more dramatic pullback to 494 range, bounce off that level, and then go try to retest that resistance level, okay? So there's 2 trade setups to consider in BigBear AI. So let's wrap up the session. Hope you enjoyed the session. I'll be back each day this week for more technical analysis. In the meantime, wishing you the best of luck in your trading and investing, and we'll see you soon.